All right, so we have our little network here, and we've backed up our configurations, but we've added, let's say, 2 new PCs. Blank PCs or other PCs died, we brought in some 2 new ones. But now we want to assign IP addresses automatically. But we want to do it from the router. We want to turn that particular router, that 2620, into a DHCP router as well. We want to turn that service on. Because right now, we were to go into these PCs and we'll look at the IP configuration. They're set to getting an IP address dynamically through a DHCP server, which right now it's getting the APIPA, the automatic private IP address. It generates it by itself. So definitely that's not something we want. And the same thing would be for PC1. So we got to go in our router and we got to set this up. Now we do have a TFTP server that the IP address of the TFTP server is 100.2. And you know what? He's also going to be our DNS server as well. So let's go in there, 192.168.100.2. Okay, and we'll close that. And again, we did that where? We clicked on the TFTP server once, we hit it on the desktop tab, we went into IP configurations, and we put in the DNS server text field, we put in the IP address of that particular server. Now, one more step with the new version of the packet tracer that we have to go into services. We got to go into DNS, and you see that it's off by default. We got to turn that on. Since we're playing like we're DNS, and we're just going to create Cisco.com, right? And we'll give it the address of 192.168.100.2, which is us, and we'll add that. That's already saved in there, not a problem. Okay, so we have an A record, a makeshift A record in our DNS, and we have the IP address. Perfect. So because with the DHCP server, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and assign the DNS IP addresses, gateway addresses, and of course the IP address and mask to those 2 PCs. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go into the router. Let's maximize the router. And let's get into global configuration. Right now, we're in privilege mode, and we know this because we're in the pound sign. So go to config T. We're going to say IP DHCP pool, and let's call this HR_LAN. Names cannot have spaces. I'll error out. Now, if you question mark it, there it will tell you what you need to put. So we have the default router. The default router, that's going to be your interface that's facing towards your LAN. So it's the 192.168.100.254. That's the default router. The DNS server is going to be the 192.168.100.2. And the network, that's why it knows the range of IP addresses that you got to work with. 192.168.100.0 with the mask 255.255.255.0. So it knows what to work with. But we need to exclude some IP addresses, don't we? We got to exclude that 100.2 and that 100.254 because those are static IPs that will never be assigned. So we got to make sure that, so we need to exclude them. So we're going to exit out once. We're going to go IP DHCP, and if you question mark right there, you can see excluded. All right, so we're going to go excluded. And I'll tab that out. Addresses, we're going to go 192.168.100.254, which is the IP address of your fast Ethernet 00 on your router. And then I'm going to up arrow, and I'll put the 2, which is your DNS server. And then we're going to exit. And we're going to say copy, run, start, which is a long way of doing it, but this is how you would do it in your test. Hit enter. Is that where you want to save it to, the start config? Yes, I do. And then we do a show. We're going to do a show run just to go by the certification. And we can see that we have 2 DHCP excluded addresses. We have our HR LAN, that the network is 100.0. There's the default router. There's the DNS. So let's minimize our router. Let's go to one of our PCs. Let's go to IP configuration. And there you go. There's 100.1. There's our default gateway. There's our DNS. And we come over here, do the same thing. Boom, there's 100.3 and everything. So the information is correct. It was assigned by the router. Very simple to do. And let's just test for connectivity to make sure. I mean, we do have it, but we always want to check to make sure in your test. You gotta verify. So we'll ping 100.2, which is our DNS server, and we do have connectivity to that particular PC. So we are good to go. That is setting up a DHCP server or DHCP service on your router.